James Fields,
Heather Heyer,
32 years old, 17 miles up the road from Ruckersville, Virginia,
killing 32-year-old Heather Heyer, injuring 24 others.
The Charlottesville car attack was a terror attack perpetrated on August 12, 2017, when James Alex Fields Jr. deliberately drove his car into a crowd of people who have been peacefully protesting the Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, Virginia, killing 1 and injuring 19. The 20-year-old Fields had driven from Ohio to attend the rally. Fields previously espoused neo-Nazi and white supremacist beliefs. He was convicted in a state court of hit and run, the first-degree murder of 32-year-old Heather Heyer, and 8 counts of malicious wounding, and sentenced to life in prison with an additional 419 years in July 2019. He also pled guilty to 29 of 30 federal hate crime charges to avoid the death penalty, which also resulted in another life sentence handed down in June 2019. Heather Heyer, a 32-year-old, was born on May 29, 1985 in Charlottesville, Virginia. She died in an attack while nearly 3 dozen people were injured in what was defined as an act of domestic terrorism. When asked about her by her manager, she was described as a very strong, very opinionated young woman who was opposed to President Donald Trump and Jason Kessler, the blogger who organized Saturday's Unite the Right rally. Heyer was marching with other counter-demonstrators when she was hit. She died from blunt force injury to the chest, and 19 others were injured. James Alex Fields, a 20-year-old man living in Ohio, was charged with second-degree murder. He got sentenced to life, imprisonment without parole by a federal court in Charlottesville, after he pleaded guilty to have deliberately targeted counter-protesters who railed against the white supremacist Unite the Right demonstration. Fields pleaded guilty to federal hate crimes charges in March as part of a plea deal with prosecutors, which took the death penalty off the table. He reportedly apologized to the victims before his sentence. In addition, Fields, who a former teacher said was fascinated by Hitler, was charged with 30 federal hate crimes.
Loved Hitler, and he loved, the Nazi movement. They were all, geniuses, and the whole white supremacy thing, that white people were dominant.
But the case inside the courtroom is about this video from Saturday, where police say Fields slammed his car into counter-protesters and 2 stopped vehicles, killing 1 and injuring at least 19.
And late this afternoon, the white nationalist behind the rally that started all of this, chased from his own news conference by
James Alex Fields Jr., second from left, holds a black shield during a white supremacist rally on Saturday, August 12, 2017 in Charlottesville, Virginia. Here's what the public said about Heather Heyer in her memory.
This is where my little girl was taken away from me.
Now that stretch of road between Market and Water Streets has a new name, Heather Heyer Way.
It's an honor for the city to do this in my daughter's name.
Heather's parents are struggling with the loss.
1 foot in front of the other. I got the tree up. I didn't plug it in. I don't have any decorations on it, but it's up, and that was a big step for me.
But they say seeing Heather's name on this sign is a reminder that she died fighting for what she believed in.
I'm proud of how she died. I'm proud of why she died.
It's not just the sign. Messages are still written on the walls, and flowers still line the streets. Signs of a city the mayor says is still healing.
Angry mob starts beating your car with sticks, and there are hundreds of them, and the police are not protecting you. You panic!
On August 8th, 2017, Fields texted his mother, "I got the weekend off, so I'll be able to go to the rally." 2 days later, she replied, urging him to be careful. Fields then replied on August 11th, "We're not the one who needs to be careful." Susan Bro, mother of Heather Heyer, is escorted down the steps of the courthouse after a guilty verdict was reached in the trial of James Alex Fields Jr. on December 7, 2018 at Charlottesville General District Court in Charlottesville, Virginia. Susan Bro speaks about the Charlottesville car attack and her daughter, Heather.
The last time I saw my daughter was to identify her body and to sign the papers for her to be cremated. and I held her bruised hand and bruised arm, and I said, I'm going to make this count for you. I don't get to knock my child down and silence that voice without 500 more raising up. Don't get to do but theoretically, he caused a lot of harm to the white supremacist movement. For that, I'm glad. I think a lot of people were just mouthing things and not really thinking about the consequences of what could happen. So this sends a louder, clearer message that you don't have a lack of consequences. You have some pretty serious consequences, and frankly, probably one of the reasons he's not facing the death penalty is because he pled out. Knowing that he won't be out again to cause more harm to more people helps. Knowing that a clear message has been sent, hoping to prevent other deaths, that helps. Other than that, I'm kind of done with him and I'm moving on with my life.
Charlottesville police detective took the stand today in James Fields Jr.'s trial and reviewed pictures of items found on the car that Fields was driving, which included bloodstains. Prosecutors argue Fields deliberately drove his car into the crowd, killing Heather Heyer and injuring dozens during last year's Unite the Right rally. Fields' attorneys say their client acted in self-defense.
During the trial, Fields' attorney, John Hill, argued that he panicked and was scared when he drove his Dodge Challenger into the group. In August 2017, after hours of violent fights breaking out in the streets between rally attendees and counter-protesters. Prosecutors, however, argued that Fields was angry that day over the fighting taking place between the two sides. Prosecutor Nina Alice pointed out that Fields twice posted on Instagram before the rally an image of a group of people getting struck by a car. James Alex Fields has gotten what he deserves by getting life sentence for intentionally driving into a group of counter-protesters just because he didn't like them, taking away a person's life and wounding several others. Because of his action, now Heather Heyer has become a symbol for civil rights, and many people are supporting and standing up for what she had believed in and what she died for. Mother of Heather Heyer, Susan Bro, formed the Heather Heyer Foundation 15 days after her death, and the foundation provides scholarships to fight against hatred and promote social change in the areas of study of law, paralegal studies, social work, social justice, and education. 4th Street in Charlottesville, the place where Heather was killed, was also given the name Heather Heyer Way to honor Heyer.